Page 3 now, election eve, the last-minute campaign pushes, promises, and rallies. And while the president is persona non grata for most Democrat candidates, a few have embraced Obama. This despite the toxic nature of President Obama and his plunging approval numbers. In fact, Obama can't seem to make anyone happy right now, Democrats and Republicans alike. Hecklers are stalking Obama lately. And in Connecticut, at a rally for Governor Dan Malloy, the president was interrupted by so-called dreamers, illegal aliens demanding rights.
I love you. I appreciate you too. Thank you. Thank you. So hold on, young lady. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. You're a dreamer, and I gave you relief administratively, and we're going to work on the next one. The Republicans are blocking immigration reform. That's one more reason why we need a Democratic Senate.
Nice recovery, Mr. President, but this is what happens when a party panders to different special interest groups. In the end, no one's happy. Meantime, the president's party appears to be poised to lose control of the Senate. The question is, what will be the agenda of the Republican leadership if this happens?
This is going to be a repudiation of the president's policies. The president is on the ballot in a way. This is a referendum on the president, so no question this is a big message to the president. But also it's a message that people are tired of nothing getting done. The gridlock in Washington has largely been from the Democrats, who haven't allowed any legislation to come forward in the Senate. So I think if we win, you will see legislation passed, and you will see legislation sent to the desk of the president.
Now, 8 Senate races are in the toss-up category right now going into Election Day. They remain close possibly because neither of the main candidates appeals to a constitutional core of we the people. So how far off are these people running for Senate from conservative values? Joining me now from our bureau in Washington, D.C., Executive Director of Conservative Review, Gaston Mooney. Gaston, let's start, shall we, in the great state of Arkansas, and Tom Cotton. He gets a C from Conservative Review. That's 72%. Actually, among all the candidates, if you look at them running for Senate, that's actually not a bad grade, is it?
That's not. He's gotten some conservative endorsements. We've seen other conservative organizations like the Club for Growth, Senate Conservatives Fund. They've been in there running all year long, well before the primary was over, ads against Pryor. So he's gotten a lot of conservative grassroots support, which is more than some of the other candidates have gotten. Now,
his Democrat opponent, you just mentioned, is Mark Pryor. He gets almost a straight F. He gets an F, and his score was 2%, which, you know, is pretty close to the bottom.
Yep.
So what makes him tick in terms of...
It just shows how liberal he is.
All right, so that's the bottom line here. He has 2% conservative voting record.
Yeah, it shows how liberal he is. If you go through his scorecard on conservativeview.com, you can see he's voted for everything with the president on amnesty. He's voted against things on whether it be trying to repeal back energy regulations. Against fiscal restraint, the whole 9 yards. Mark Pryor is a liberal. He's been running away from the president this entire time, and Cotton's done a great job of pinning Mark Pryor down on the tough issues like amnesty, on gun control, on all kinds of different things that really have a contrast in this race.
Okay, let's stay in the South, and we'll go to Louisiana. Bill Cassidy. Sure. Has a D and a 61%. I guess that's the best they got in Louisiana in terms of conservative candidates?
Well, I don't know. See, Louisiana is a different animal entirely. It's a jungle primary, so you've actually got a couple other Republicans that are running. One is Rob Maness. He's gotten a lot of conservative support from Sarah Palin, Senate Conservatives Fund. Even he's had some nice things said about him by Senator Mike Lee, conservative stalwart. So that jungle primary, the top 2 people are going to go on to move to the general election, and a lot of conservatives are lining up behind Rob Maness, and he's polling actually better head-to-head against Mary Landrieu than actually Bill Cassidy is. So I think it shows you how unpopular Mary Landrieu is there and how closely she's been tied to the president's policies. So that race, Mary Landrieu will probably win the overall jungle primary to advance the top vote, but when she moves on to the runoff, she's toast.
So, but the Maness, we should point out, doesn't get a rating, a grade, if you will, on conservative review because he doesn't have a record to review, at least on the federal level. Mary Landrieu, on the other hand, has a record that you can evaluate, and when you input that into your conservative review computer, it spits out, again, an F at 2%.
Sure, yeah, Mary Landrieu has all kinds of different problems, whether it's the race baiting she's been doing at the end, or she, like you said in your lead up to this interview, you know, with the special interest, she's been trying to slice and dice the electorate, making special promises to different groups, and it's really come back to haunt her. And her record has just been abysmal as far as anything relating to what conservatives value.
Okay, let's go to North Carolina, staying in the South. Thom Tillis, the Republican candidate, again, has no federal record, so he's not rated on your website. But Kay Hagan is, and she's another F.
Sure, Kay Hagan's had a lot of different problems, whether it's been anything with her position on social issues, with, you know, pro-life issues, things like that, or even things with Obamacare. That's what's really driving her down. Now, that race is closer than the others, and I think it's still a little bit of a toss-up either way, but obviously everything's trending Republican, so that's good news for Thom Tillis. You know, conservatives are trying to rally. We saw the Tea Party Patriots were there. They were endorsing Tillis because they know that Kay Hagan's not an option. Harry Reid being the majority leader is not an option for conservatives. And so they're trying to do everything they can to muster through to pull Thom Tillis across the finish line.
Now, in Kentucky, it looks as though the minority leader, Mitch McConnell, is going to pull that one out, possibly, if you believe the polling, over Allison Lundergan Grimes.
Sure.
But Mitch McConnell's grade is, well, it's a D, and I think, what, 62%? So his record on conservative issues as Senate Minority Leader isn't all that great.
It's not. You know, he's had a lot of tough votes. He voted for the bailout, the TARP bailout in 2008. He's voted for, you know, the debt limit this last February, just a clean debt ceiling increase to move that along to the president's desk. So he's had some tough issues. I mean, being in leadership is a tough responsibility, but conservatives are looking to hold the line right now. And I know there's a lot of inter-party warfare as far as conservatives with the establishment and that narrative. So we'll see what happens. He's had a lot of different people in the conservative movement, from Rand Paul to Thomas Massie, to a lot of different people kind of rally out and to try to pull him across the line. And I think it just shows you how expensive that race is, how high McConnell's negatives are, and what a tough hill this is for him to climb. It's his toughest election he's probably ever faced.
And let's just cut to the chase. From Alaska to New Hampshire, virtually all the Democrat candidates running for Senate receive an F. And it should be noted that Al Franken in Minnesota not only has an F, but he has a 0. What happened there?
Yeah, the funny guy there. He's only been there for I guess his first full term, and Al Franken is one of the most polarizing senators. If you listen to his speeches on the Senate floor, if you listen to some of his rhetoric and some of his positions, they are to the far left of absolutely everything. Yeah. He hasn't had a single vote that we've judged to be anything worth conservative support at all. So Al Franken is just right there on the far left fringe.
Yeah, he's a joke, literally. Gaston, thank you.